I really appreciate people that want to mold the younger generations because honestly, I've always thought they're doing it all wrong. One question I have is, what are some of sort of the common sort of troubles that these generations have that they're sort of asking you for help with your guru monster techniques?
That's a great question. A lot of it has to do with the social medias, the TikToks and the Instagram.
You seem to really know this stuff. They're using the Instagrams, they're using the YouTubes, they're using the TikToks. What are they asking you about specifically? What is the general struggles that's going on with the younger generation?
Well, they're all asking me, how do I become famous on the TikTok? Like, that seems to be the number one concern.
So are these young Zoomers, they want to get big on the TikTok. How are you encouraging them to get famous on the TikTok?
Well, my first piece of advice for becoming famous on the TikTok is always to buy my book. My book really has all of the secrets for success for these generations. We're really covering like all aspects of their life in this, and specifically the famous on the TikTok, the famous on the Instagram. Those are some real life concerns for these generations, and it's really important to me to like address those concerns for them and to show them that they really have no value unless they're famous on those platforms.
Well, we all know that the younger generation are reading books now. That's kind of the big thing. Everyone's reading. All the kids are reading. So it's a good idea that you came out with a book.
So if a 15-year-old kid who's having trouble with the TikTok, they call you up and they're like, "Hey, I'm really having trouble becoming famous right now." Your response will be, "Buy my book."
I would say so. Buy my book, and then don't be afraid to like show a little skin,
So buy your book and show skin. It is like, what percentage of the answers to questions would you say that answer is?
Is it bad to say 100%? I feel like maybe 95% of the time. Buying the book is 100% of the time. Like, that is always the first answer. Showing skin is applicable in maybe like 95% of life situations. There may be like 5% like with parents, but sometimes with parents it can work too.
Well, it's interesting. I'm looking at the sample that you have on the website, and the first chapter says show some skin. So
right.
I glanced through your book, and like a quarter of the book is just saying buy the book. Which I think is a little strange because, I already bought the book, but I guess it's kind of like a philosophy of buy it again or something.
It's about conforming. It's about conforming to what everybody else thinks you should be, conforming to somebody else's ideal, conforming to everybody else's opinions, because that's really how you become the best version of yourself, is by becoming what somebody else wants you to be. That has to do with like friends, that has to do with like work, and especially dating. Like, dating, I think, is probably the number one thing for teens, where they need to learn to be what somebody else wants them to be.
Right.
Otherwise they won't be successful.
So, for example, my nephew, he's wearing a lot of clocks on himself. He's wearing a clock hat. He's into TikTok. He's zooming. He's running. He's zooming everywhere. He's running. He's sprinting around the house. He's sprinting around the house wearing a clock uniform, saying, "Zoom, zoom, TikTok." I want to say it. My sister calls me up. He sprints around the house, saying, "Zoom, zoom, TikTok," and she doesn't know what to do with him. He's going zoom, zoom, TikTok, zoom, zoom, TikTok, and she doesn't know what to do. And he's 14 right now, and I think he's a little too old to be zooming and TikToking, or maybe he's just right. But either way, like, she wants him to start dating, and what can he do to just enter that world and not go zoom, zoom, TikTok around the house?
Right. Well, first off, I would say that it's definitely not a good idea to discourage the zoom, zoom, TikTok behaviors. Those are very appropriate, healthy behaviors for a 14-year-old boy in this stage of life. So definitely encourage that. The next thing I would say to your sister and to your nephew is that they should really buy my book. There's a whole chapter on dating for Generation Zoomers, the zooming all around, the TikToking. And so if he really wants to get into meeting that special somebody, the first piece of advice that I would give to anybody is like, drop all of your self-respect. Like, just lose it all. Yeah. Like, just like forget who you are entirely and just be completely willing to morph into whatever comes your way. And that's also interesting too. People don't really know this right now, but the TikTok is a great platform for dating. And so I really encourage like 14-year-olds to connect with each other on the TikTok and on the Instagram, because I think you can really find true love there, especially as a 14-year-old.